punctual live stream. I'm going to start by shouting out all my patrons. If you would like to be on this list, then there is a link to my Patreon account in the description so that you can help to fund future live stream talks such as this. We've got Donna Melton, Lawbatty, Mr. Belmosen, Aaron Alston, Mike Bodley, Arena Kranick, Alan Carfigno, just Stacy, Sapphire, Cindy Shigler, Will Davidson, Riley Martin, Jessica Narizo, Paul Taylor, Miniform, Simple Truths, and Audrey Boldrin. Thank you all so much, so very much. This episode is brought to all of you by supporters like you. And as you can see here, you may have guessed that I'm not in Chicago anymore, which is pretty great. I'm happy that I'm not in Chicago anymore. But it was quite a long trip. I hope everybody can hear me okay. I'm kind of like near a highway. It's pretty loud up above me. Satan's chewing on a stick behind me. And, I'm enjoying this fine garden on this fine evening. So welcome. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I am pretty toasty today. It was 100 degrees yesterday in New Orleans, and it got, I think it was like 99, 100 degrees today. Kind of made me feel like I was back at home at the library in Slab City. So I'm going to give folks a chance to come into chat here and find the chat because I've only been live for less than 2 minutes now, and I'm usually not right on time. So, hey, how's it going, everybody? We got conspiracy theorists in the house, Gavin Graham, Aaron's in, Chandelier, that's a fun name, Philip White from Australia, Kim's Nature Channel, thanks for joining us again. Mario, stay hydrated. Well, I've got a nice LaCroix, that's how the French say it, I think, LaCroix, and it's ice cold and good and bubbly, and it's just water. It's just water and carbonation. So, and I got some coffee here, some instant coffee in a water bottle. So, I need a little bit of caffeine to do this talk today because it's a lot of talking. I don't typically. I don't know, I guess I've been doing it a lot more and more recently, talking a lot, but it doesn't seem to be bothering anybody, and I only start talking if they seem like, they want to know something, and in which case I try to keep it to the point, which, I'm kind of not doing to the point for another couple minutes. I'm just kind of chilling here, catching up with y'all folks for a second, enjoying this nice breeze. It was very muggy earlier today, and it's going to be muggy for the next few days. So for those of you that didn't know or haven't really been following along, or if you're new, welcome. First and foremost, welcome. Hi, hello. And secondly, I have embarked on Operation Recover the Ronin, which is my vehicle, and it is in Florida, about a 5-hour drive away. So I'm gonna be trying to figure out how I'm gonna get to it in the next few days so that I can be more helpful around town here. There's a lot of really kind folks doing a lot of really kind things, like free food giveaways and clothing giveaways and just distribution in general, which is what I'm all about. I like freely distributing supplies to people in need. If you know anything about me, that's kind of like the thing that I like to do. I could use patrons now more than ever, or, shameless segue to direct your attention to my PayPal and Venmo link if you would like to help out with that, Operation Recover the Ronin, and also subsequently Operation Help as many people as I can while I'm in New Orleans. That would be great. It's pretty hot here this time of year. There's a lot of people that are in need and can use assistance and distribution. So that's yeah, it's important. So I guess today I'm here to talk about what are the rules of Slab City. What can you do and what can't you do in slabs? Who's to say what's acceptable and what's all right? A lot of people will come to slabs with these questions, like they'll be like, "Oh, I heard this is the last lawless place, so that means I can do whatever I want out here." And my response to them is typically something along the lines of, "Well, no, man, like you can't just, I mean, you can in theory, but that's the same as like any aspect of your life, anytime, anywhere. You're free to do whatever you want. I mean, you're free to do whatever you want at any time, but it's just that in certain settings, there's different consequences to your actions or outcomes. So let's say, like, and this is honestly, this is like basic anarchist theory, right? Like, what is anarchy? Well, we actually live a lot more of our lives in a state of anarchy than we realize. It's not a political state. It's not like a political party. It's a very wide range of ideologies under the umbrella term and the umbrella idea of anarchy, right? So anarchy is the absence of government, no rulers. But does that mean that anybody can do anything at any given time? No, it doesn't. And like I was saying, you can do anything you want at any time, but there's reasons that you don't. Like, say you're in the woods and you come across another woods. Well, there's nobody around to tell you that you can't stab that guy and throw him in the river. And like there's nobody watching you to make sure you don't do that. There's, you know, so you're in, I guess, you're in a situation where there's no like cops or government that like police you or tell you what to do. But are you gonna stab that guy? Like, probably not, unless you're a psychopath. And like most of us, you would encounter another human being in like the wilderness, and it's good to have a healthy amount of caution when you're approaching somebody in the middle of nowhere, who they are, like, and you want to give them space and stuff. But most folks are just gonna say hi and leave each other alone, or maybe strike up a conversation. And that's just human nature. Humans by nature aren't looking to hurt each other, because it's a lot more work in the end to be malicious towards another person than it is to form bonds and friendships and like work together on a common goal, or at the very least stay the fuck out of each other's way. It's so like, yeah, can you go to Slab City and like walk into the library and kick over a bookshelf and pee on the floor and say fuck you to Zoe? Well, that would be a very poor idea, and it wouldn't turn out well for you. So it's like, you don't need the government to tell you that you can't do that. You just can use your fucking little brain and be like, yeah, I guess that's not what I really want to do. With the same amount of effort, you could like go out there and do any number of fun things that other people will like, and make some friends and do more fun things, and that would be a better use of your time. A lot of people, one of the questions when people are asking about what are the rules of Slab City is, some folks will be like, so I can walk around naked and it's okay? And the answer to that is like, yeah, as long as you're not being a fucking creep, or like if you walk into somebody's camp while you're naked, then whoever's camp it is, like if they're cool with it, then fuck yeah. But if they're not, then you have to deal with that. And if you're like jerking off at people, obviously people are gonna be really fucking pissed off and maybe beat your ass and or throw you out of town or something. Like, you know, if you're being aggressive, then people aren't just gonna stand for it. Like, you can get away with it for a little bit sometimes, but you cross the wrong person and you piss off enough people, then nobody's gonna fucking save your ass when it's getting fucking whooped. You know. But yeah, lots of people do like walking around slabs naked. When I was living up at the tanks, there was this old man. Every year for like 3 years, he would come around riding a bicycle and just like butt ass naked, balls flapping in the wind, free as can be. And you know, he wasn't being a creep about it. He was just a goofy old man that wanted to feel the wind in his testicles. So that was cool. That was fine. We'd always like wave at him like, "Hi, naked bike guy. How's it going, dude?" And he'd be like, "Hey, kids." And it was cool. And actually, one of my neighbors up at the tanks was an old nudist man too. But and he was really, really great. Super nice guy. Never a creep. But sometimes he would come over to my place and get fucked up because we'd have a fire and get really drunk. And he liked to drink. There was a couple times where we'd get so fucking wasted and also like butt ass naked, and we would have to like help him back home because, you know, he was a real old man, and just like it's real sandy and shitty to walk out there. So that was always entertaining to give him a hand back to his camp. But yeah. Let's see. White privilege denier says, "I can't go to Slab because I'm a player hater. I would get killed in Slab pretty quick." Well, with that attitude, yeah, probably. Also, I thought I banned you from my YouTube because maybe I didn't ban you. Maybe I gave you a timeout or something. I don't know. Whatever. You're on thin ice, white privilege denier, especially because of a name like that. Let's see, what's some other rules? There's like a bunch of unspoken rules that are just kind of socially accepted norms that if you've been hanging around for long enough, you kind of take for granted. Like, there's this kind of unspoken rule that you don't approach somebody's camp after dark unless they know that you're coming. Because you don't know what somebody's doing, and it's dark out there. There's not like street lamps because we're in the middle of a desert, off grid. There's no like city infrastructure, right? So it's dark as fuck. People are already on high alert, keeping an eye on their camps. And when you walk into their camp, they know, and they may or may not already have a gun on you or whatever it is that they have. But like if you live in slabs year round, you have a plan in place for intruders. That's just, you know, so if you're gonna walk up on somebody, you better have a damn good reason to like get them all riled up. And I don't care how well you know me. If you know me well, you know that you don't walk up on my camp at night, and if you do, then you need to identify yourself quickly so I don't roll out of bed and get my shit out and because it sucks to wake up from a dead sleep and have to be like ready to fight or whatever. So, and if you must show up at somebody's camp after dark, assume that they're sleeping or like maybe even fucking drunk or something, and identify yourself as quickly as you can. And don't try and fucking argue with them about whether you should be there or not. Like, just don't. Just say, "Hey, it's me, Cornelius. I needed to ask you a very important question. That's why I'm here after hours." We got some good questions here. Craig Thompson says one rule should be no child predators. Absolutely. In any civilized society, there should not be any fucking pedophiles, and if there are, they should be like well known where they are and like where they're allowed to be, because like, yeah, for sure. And we've dealt with that before. I heard that Mike Dibble is back in jail because of violation of parole, and that was the last known pedophile that was residing in Slabs, and he did not go quietly. He was like trying to fight to be there, living right next to the range, which is Bill's operation, and that's like one of the few family-friendly venues in Slabs. So obviously people were right fucking pissed about that. And yeah, we don't want people like that. We don't want rapists either, or like people that commit violence against other people. And there have been like posses created and just groups of individuals with a mutual interest of removing such people from Slabs. It does take organization, and yeah, it's I'm not gonna lie, I've been part of a couple of those operations, and I can out myself because I know what the ramifications are of that and the consequences. And you know what? I'd do it again. But I'm not gonna get into too much detail so that I don't potentially threaten other people who are just trying to clean up the town, because we all know the cops ain't doing it. And that's another thing. The cops do come out to Slabs, and you know, they come when they called, or they come when they're looking for something specific. But other than that, they kind of just have more of a hands-off approach. And every now and then when they're, I don't know, bored or something, they'll do a roll through and just try to, I don't know, shake down some folks and see if anything turns up. And that's, you know, it is what it is. So it's important to be able to close your doors tightly, because at some camps that are less established, they will straight up just walk right in and act like you don't have the right to your own space that you occupy, because you do, but they don't have to care, and there's really no consequences for them to disregard that. So it's important to keep that in mind, and to not keep your camp super open, because yeah, they'll just walk right in if you let them. And yeah, if you are trying to remove some kind of predator from Slabs, like, and the cops catch wind of it too, they're gonna make it harder for you. They don't give a fuck if you're doing the right thing. Unfortunately, some hashtag not all cops. Some of the cops genuinely, and you guys know who you are. I know you guys watch my fucking streams. And you're welcome to, just like you're welcome to come into the library and check out a book or whatever. I'm not trying to incite any violence or animosity towards you than you've already inspired. But yeah, what was I saying? Sorry, I kind of got on a thought process there for a second. Let's see. I catch up with chat and see if I can remember what the fuck I was talking about. One Man's Adventure says it basically comes down to respect. Yeah. Oh yeah, I was talking about cops, and yeah, you don't want to give them a reason to come out. I don't think they really want to come out. And if they do, a lot of times they're just going to come in guns a-blazing. They don't care what the situation is. They don't care about the social nuance of it. And if you are trying to remove somebody from slabs that is hurting other people, then the cops are, for the most part, to be avoided unless you know the law well enough that you can navigate it. I've made, I think, technically 1 or 2 citizens arrests, and also assisted in catching a murderer that was out in slabs years ago. And I'm not against working with local law enforcement if I think they will be able to help. So yeah, but in the last couple years, my trust in officers of the law to perform their duty or whatever has greatly waned. So somebody earlier in chat was asking about what are the rules of the hot spring. That is another thing that is worth mentioning. John here says never call cops or green light. Yeah. Lodi says, what about snitches and stuff? What about snitches? I mean, don't try and call the cops to harass your neighbors when you can take care of a situation yourself. Definitely. Just don't call them. But if they do come through, the best thing that you can do is just be respectful and as cordial as possible, because if you meet them with opposition, they'll bring it right back, and you don't want that. They're better armed than you are. So, it is what it is. They exist, and in whatever capacity they think that they're doing the right thing. So there's that. Okay, so bringing it to the hot spring topic. I just scratched a bug bite and now I'm bleeding. The hot spring. Okay. The hot spring is like a community recognized public spot. As far as legality goes, it's actually not on the land trust that the rest of Slab City is on. It's owned by a farmer that lives nearby, who, just because he doesn't seem to give a fuck, just allows it to be there and people to use it, and it's kind of just neutral ground. So sometimes you get people that see a good thing and they're like, oh, nobody else is camped here. Why don't I camp right here up on the hot spring on this nice, perfect, flat spot that's obviously meant just for me, so that I can watch people take baths all day and make other humans uncomfortable with my presence because I don't give a fuck about anybody else. And that's pretty shit. You don't fucking camp up on the hot springs. You need to give it like a few hundred feet. And there's like literally the entire desert out there with tons of flat ground that you can set up a campsite that isn't invading people's space. Like, it's fucking rude because like the entire community uses the hot spring, and it's like a public bathhouse, and you're just taking up space and like being super fucking entitled that you think that you can just take up that area. That, like, old people, handicapped people, and children, they use that hot spring, and they're not trying to be there to like party it up. They're just trying to get a fucking bath. So like, and leave them some space. If you really want to be camped up next to the hot spring, camp a few 100 yards away and just walk over whenever you want. And that's totally cool. Nobody will care. Number two, trying to camp up on the hot spring, is that it's fucking creepy. It's legit, like, what do you want to see fucking people naked that, like, have not consented to you, like, peeping on them? You're trying to watch them from inside your fucking RV while you're parked, or your van or whatever the fuck, while you're parked right up next to the hot spring? That's fucking bullshit. That's sexual predator shit, and we don't fucking like sexual predators. So, yeah, just don't fucking do it. There's literally the entire fucking desert to camp in. Yeah, it sucks. And there are people that monitor the hot spring, and if you're trying to fucking be a dick about it, you're literally picking a fight with the entire community of people that uses that hot spring. So we have an interest to keep it free for everybody. Hey, Captain, thanks for helping out today. I'll catch you later, dude. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, don't be a creep. Don't post up on the hot spring. There is a person that does live there, that near the hot spring, that tidies it up and regulates it periodically. So and also there's people that organize cleanup crew, etc. Barry Smith asks, where do I go to send you a few bucks? If you look in the description right underneath the video here, there's a couple of links. There's PayPal and Venmo. If you would like to drop something in there, I would be very, very grateful. I can definitely use it. Tap the P says, is the spring safe to drink? What the fuck? That's a bathtub, dude. People are taking baths in it. There's like soap and like body scum and shit. And it's a hot spring. It's a fucking lithium hot spring with like clay deposits in it. No, you'll get sick. No, don't drink hot spring water anywhere. Oh my god, Biggie James asked, what are the feelings in Slab about Peter leaving? Literally nobody gives a fuck. He didn't do anything for the community. He wasn't a slabber. I don't know why the fuck. Like, why? Did you even know who Peter was before that fucking video? Like, what the fuck? Ravel to Expand says, don't have sex in the hot spring. Wrong-o, buddy. If you and your partner are the only people in the hot spring, and it's like 3 a.m. on a Tuesday, there ain't nobody around, and I don't know, I don't see anything wrong with fucking anywhere as long as you're not bothering anybody. Like, don't jizz everywhere. That would be fucking rude. I don't know, man. I've fooled around with hotties in the hot spring. I'm not gonna lie. I'm also not jizzing all over the fucking dock or anything. All right, we got some kickdowns from. There's one from. I feel like these came from the other day, but I'm going to shout them out again. Amy Sorry, Riley Martin, Raymond Baldridge, and Styles again. Thank you all so much. I fucking really appreciate that. Okay, let's see. Other rules. Aaron Alston says, rule number 5, don't jizz everywhere. Not unless it's like your own camp or like a consenting situation. I don't know. If somebody is like, hey, Aaron, can you come over to my house and jizz everywhere, please? And you were like, yeah, I think I can handle that. Then, yeah, you know, do it up, G. Do what makes you feel good. Like, if it's not bothering anybody, it's fine. If it's not hurting anybody, it's fine. Like, literally, if I wanted to go to Slabs, which, like, my first few seasons I totally did, and, like, literally all I wanted to do was get fucking wasted all day long and like throw up on myself periodically and like break glass and shit, like that's totally kosher. As long as it's not like fucking bothering anybody else, like totally cool. And nobody gives a fuck. Like you can fucking, yeah, like whatever. If all you wanted to do was like make a fucking circle fence in the desert and just like drag stuff that you find out of the desert and like light it on fire and like, I don't know, break stuff all day, nobody is gonna stop you. It's fine. You can do that. You're free to do that. There's real freedom. And yeah. And if you wanna look like a total freak, if you wanna like dress up like a dog or something, as long as you're not like being a creep about it, you can totally do weird shit like that. And if you want to, you can throw fucking orgies, like, or weird drug parties too. You can do all that. Just like keep it in your defined area and don't make it an issue. And then the cops won't get called too, because like if you're doing shit that's gonna get the cops called, that's a big not okay. Because like, while myself or my friends probably aren't gonna call the police on you, somebody eventually will. If you piss off enough people, eventually somebody is gonna call the cops on you. And then we got cops in slabs. Oh, and that brings up another topic too. Like, a lot of people like to think that it's their right to let their dog roam around slabs unleashed. And there are some cases where there's dogs that do that, and they've been out there for a long time, and it's generally okay. I don't agree with it because, like, no matter how good your dog is, they can find any number of things out in the desert and get really hurt, or they could hurt a kid or something, or get hit by a car that doesn't see them. And if you have like a poorly behaved dog that's not being watched out in slabs, then animal control is going to get called out there. And if they're coming all the way out, they're going to try and pick up as much as they can. They're going to keep their eyes open for other stray dogs wandering around and other animals, and they're going to try and pick them up. So we don't want, we don't want that. If it's something that's against California or federal law, like, at least be careful of who sees you doing it, right? Like, I'm not going to tell you that you can't have a fucking, I don't know, like a fist fighting ring where you bet on who wins and shit. But if you're like putting up posters and flyers everywhere and like putting out the word and making a big thing of it, eventually the cops are going to find out that there's an illegal fighting and gambling ring, and they're going to come out and do something about it. So, you know, we got $20. Thanks, dude. Love your work, chorusing songs of player hatred and intolerance for hood culture. That sounds racist, man. Much love for my fellow Scandinavian American transient. What the fuck? Ugh. Ain't no amount of money you can donate to me is gonna make me be like, yeah, white brother. Fuck that. You don't know what my heritage is. Yikes. O'Shea asks, can you grow weed out there? Yeah, of course you can. It's kind of hard to do because it's the desert. But yeah, if you can, you can. Pretty sure, like, pretty much when you get down to it, it's like what's legal in California, because we are still in California, just because it's a patch of land where a bunch of people have been squatting since the 1950s doesn't mean that it's like exempt from local and federal law. It just means that there's a lot more people out there that are not interested in how legal your activities are. You get what I'm saying? I guess more unspoken kind of social structure or rules is like when you're trying to pick where you want to set up camp, right? It's kind of, and these aren't rules, this is kind of guidelines, but you want to go and talk around, like scope out the areas that you are interested in being at, talk around to people that have been living there for a while, and kind of get to know their feelings. Like there's like defined lots where there have been camps before that are kind of like recognized. Like, yeah, people will just claim a random bush and build a little fort in it, and that can fly. In some situations, it's like not great. I've had people try to like they'll park right up in the bush that all of the people that visit the library take a piss in, and they just like literally just get to Slabs, find the first shady bush, and start trying to build a camp. And like sometimes they work quick too. Like I'll be in the kitchen cooking dinner. This has happened a few times, and I'll look outside and see like a full-on tent going up in the piss bush, and I'll have to go out and be like, hey homie, you can't be here. And they'll be like, oh yeah, I can. What, do you own this bush? And I'll be like, well, first off, this is the bush where everybody takes a piss all day long, 7 days a week. People from all over the world pee here. And we're gonna keep peeing here. And we're not gonna have some fucking weirdo living in the piss bush. It's just not how it's gonna go down. So you can find like literally any other bush. There's like 5 over there. So go over there. Also, this area is actually owned by the Canal, and they will move you out of here, and they legally can move you out of here. So there's that. So yeah, like, can you set up in a random bush? Yes, you can. Will you be met with resistance? Sometimes, yeah. So you want to use your better judgment and kind of scope out an area first. I guarantee you there's always going to be a better campsite than the piss bush, though. Let me tell you. When I first went out to Slabs, I didn't know. I thought like, oh, there's no rules here. I can do whatever I want. I was tearing ass in my van, like through people's yards. I didn't even realize it. And then I found a spot where I thought would be a great spot to camp. There was nobody very close to me, and it was like empty, and there was some good shade. So I like park up in there, and I start setting up my camp. And this old guy comes out, and he's like, hey, you can't be there. And I'm like, the fuck you talking about? And he's like, well, first off, you're in my backyard. I'm a nudist, and I want to fucking sunbathe over here. That's why I live on the berm, so that when I'm hanging out naked in my yard, that like there's just a fucking hill there, like a barrier. Nobody can see me. I have privacy. So if you're there, that would be really weird. And also, you're in a wash. And if you're in a wash, like right now it's nice and dry, but when it rains, all of your shit is going to get swept away in the water as it runs through, because a wash is just a dry riverbed. So I was trying to camp in a dry riverbed, and he was kind enough to explain that to me. So I was like, okay, that actually makes sense. I don't want to camp here, because, you know, that would be weird if you were like sunbathing up there. And I don't want my camp to get taken away by the wash. So then I, you know, packed up all my shit and headed out as far, like far outside of the main area, like where there was absolutely nobody camping around. So even if I, did pick an awkward spot, at least I wouldn't be bothering anybody, and I could just fuck around and find out from there. And that's how I ended up at the tanks for a while, and that was nice. Some establishments are like defunct, so if you ask around and you have good intentions for a space, that's how I ended up landing at the library, because I was looking for a space to work on and kind of contribute to the community in some way. So I talked around, and a bunch of people, especially like the old timers, were like, there is remnants of a library that was built a while ago, and it's really sad that it's not functioning anymore. Maybe you could see who's posted up at it. Go and talk to this person, because he was the last person to be taking care of it, and he still lives there next door. So I went and spoke to him, and I was like, so what's the deal with the library here? And he was like, oh, dear God, I'm so glad that you asked, because I'm trying to leave Slabs so I can go to truck driving school and pursue some type of career and stuff. And I've been waiting for somebody to come and take care of it so that it doesn't get completely pillaged to the ground. Because after somebody leaves the space, if there's nobody there to keep an eye on it, like, the community in general can, like, if they want to come together and preserve the space, like, they can keep an eye on it and chase people out when they see people in there. But at the end of the day, they're trying to keep people out of their own fucking yard and, like, keep their own stuff safe. So an establishment in Slabs needs a dedicated caretaker in order to survive. At least one dedicated caretaker. Ideally, it's a small core crew of like-minded individuals with the same goal in mind. But yeah, somebody needs to be there, because once there's nobody there, then it's typically, like, if somebody's been living there for a while, they could leave for a few weeks, and, like, in general, people wouldn't be like, oh, it's the day this person left, everybody go and get their shit. Like, that's not going to happen unless you're a total fucking scumbag. And if you are, you will be found out and exposed, and people will know you as a total scumbag and not trust you around their shit or want you to be at their place. So it's like, if you alienate yourself from the community in that way, a lot of doors will close for you. But if you've only been living in a space for like a couple of weeks and you leave for a couple of weeks, then, and you're not very established, then people are probably going to eyeball your shit. And there's a lot of arguments and discourse as to what the proper amount of time to wait for a person to wait before you go and loot their shit after they leave or pass away or whatever. But in my opinion, and most decent folks' opinion, like, don't loot other people's shit. Like, if a person has truly abandoned a space and you know that they have, that's different. And yeah, but like a person like Bill, say, like, or somebody else, like, Mojo has a big crew, or she's got her people and stuff, so like whatever, I don't know. But if, like, let's say as an example, she fell sick and was in the hospital for a few weeks, like, it's not okay to go and ransack and establish a camp that's been established for like over 5 years. I think she's been there for 7 years now. That's what she said. Anyway, you can't just go into a place like that and just like loot it the moment somebody leaves. But in the case of, in the case of you're a fucking shithead, like Ray, my neighbor Ray, a number of years ago. I want to say like 5 years ago now. He was a total shitbag. Nobody wanted him in town, and he ended up getting arrested because he attacked me in my yard, and he went to jail. And the very day after he went to jail, tons of people came up to his camp, and they stripped it down to nothing and set it on fire because he had done a lot of really bad things and hurt people and would like outright threaten people. And we had been trying to figure out how to get him to fuck off for a while. So when he finally just left, everybody just went in and fucking stripped his shit down. So that way, if your camp is completely dismantled and you've pissed off everybody in town, then you have nowhere to hide. You have no refuge. And so your only choice is to leave. So that was a good way of making somebody leave without, like, you know, kicking the ever-loving shit out of them and dragging them to a bus station or, like, I don't know, throwing them in a fucking hole or something. And that's a desirable thing. Usually people will talk amongst each other and come up with some kind of plan. Like, I was talking about this on a stream, last stream, or maybe the stream before that, but like, we'll try and track down next of kin, somebody that gives a shit about this person, and see if we can get a hold of them and if we can get them out and get them into like treatment or some kind of care that, you know, because if you're out in the desert pissing off a bunch of people and it's an extreme climate, like, you can die. And some people care, and they don't want people to just die out there because they're not being properly treated or medicated or whatever it is. So that's always kind of the first route, is to contact family and friends. Captain Nappen says, I remember when that guy attacked you. That was messed up. Yeah, that was interesting for sure. Hey, what's up, Ryo? Welcome to chat. J9 says, love how real you are. Speak your truth. Always, man. Fuck yeah. Let's see. Is there places to fish? I guess that kind of keeps in the subject matter. There, you are allowed to fish in the canal. You are not allowed to keep certain fish. There's 2 different kinds of carp that they put in the canal specifically to keep it like clean and functioning. There's grass carp and another type of carp, I forget, but there's a sign on the fence next to the canal. Tons of people go out there and fish though. I haven't personally fished at the canal, which is surprising. I guess I'm just always trying to like get stuff done. I never made time to sit next to the water and fish. But yeah, you can do that. A lot of people do. You are not allowed to swim in the canal, however.
Whoa, whoa.
Hey, safe. Shut it.
Woo.
Oh, hey. Satan, stop. Hold on a sec. There's somebody up here. Hold on. Sorry about that, folks. That's a regular that comes over here. So I just wanted to go and let him know what's going on. Testin Loud says I saw a community cause take a dump in the canal one time. I haven't heard of that, but yeah, don't poop in the canal. Don't poop in any body of water. That's another rule of slabs, and that's a rule of anybody that's gonna live outdoors. Like, you know, there's not the poop police. I'm not gonna fucking come to your house with a baggie of your shit that I found in the middle of Slab City and be like, does this belong to you? But like, just don't do it. Like, bury your shit. Bury it at least 6 inches deep. Carry a trowel with you, and yeah, don't shit in the canal. Don't shit in the hot spring. Kale, if Testin Loud is being a troll, then we can put them on a timeout. Ryo says Testin Loud has a poop fetish. Yeah, don't poop in stuff. It's not okay. That's definitely a hard rule for Slab City. Don't poop in stuff. Don't jizz on everything unless it's consensual and not hurting anybody. But like, yeah, bury your shit. I'm not talking about infrastructure for a space in Slabs today. I'm talking about what are the rules of Slab City, so I'm not going to sit here and explain about whatever, but if you're going to build a space in Slabs, you need to keep that in mind. Like, what is your septic system going to be? Some people will use like a traditional septic system with an RV with a black water tank and pay somebody out to like empty it. Some people even order porta-johns. I think Mojo actually has porta-johns at her place, and other people have brought them out too for like events and shit. But most folks just dig a deep hole and build a shitter over it, and it's no big deal. So yeah, there are some terrible people that didn't last very long in Slabs that were just shitting in bags and leaving them in piles. Don't do that. If your neighbors find out that you're fucking doing that, they're gonna be right pissed at you. Conspiracy theorist says you must have missed the comments that were deleted. Yeah, I did. I was talking to somebody. Kim's Nature Channel says, what are you toking on, corn? This is a shitty e-cigarette. But I also have a very tiny amount of distillate left that I should take a rip off of. Yeah, I haven't been drinking at all. I had a couple drinks on the train here, but there was a rogue bartender in the lounge car. I fucking had to. If there's a rogue bartender in your fucking Amtrak lounge car, you accept the goddamn Bloody Mary. Ravel to Expand says, terrible people relieve themselves in bags. Well, I mean, depends on your situation. If you're sitting on a freight train and you gotta take a shit, a bag is usually gonna be your best option. And it's shitty, but it is like literally shitty, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Hey, Nomad Terry, how's it going? Michael Sullivan says, put poo bags where they belong, McDonald's trash barrels. How about on the fucking Supreme Court steps? Or at the fucking houses of all those. Yeah, I'm trying not to be on a tangent about how fucked our country is right now. But aside from repealing reproductive rights for folks with uteruses, they also quietly stripped us of our Miranda rights. We don't have those anymore. Can you believe that? And like, how fucking tactical that they're gonna drop some huge fucking shit on us, like fucking making it so that people can't get abortions. But in the shadow of that, they also took away our Miranda rights. So it's some dark times for a number of reasons. And I mean, I'm not trying to pretend that it's not fucked up right now, but also I'm trying to like stay focused on other things instead of letting it consume my entire life. Andy PDX, yeah, they killed our Miranda rights. Yep. True facts. Zoe says, well, that was neat. Have a good one, y'all. Hey, you just got in here. All right.
Woo, woo.
Hey, Satan, shut the fuck up. Oh no, now I've opened the floodgates of political discourse. We went from shitting in buckets to reproductive rights and Miranda rights. God damn. Also, there's a thunderstorm rolling in here. Pro Doomer asks, are you guys on Discord? Thank you for reminding me. There's links in the description. There's brand new t-shirts out. The Cheese Dog Mafia t-shirts are out. They've dropped because we all know that the real lawmakers of Slab City are in fact the Cheese Dog Mafia. They control everything, and they're the real shadow government. That's the Slabinati exists, but we're exposing them one t-shirt at a time. So go check it out. They're pretty cute. And also there is a Discord server. The link is in the description as well. I think it's at the bottom. I implore you to join us in the Discord for some discourse. In Texas wants a buttfish tee. That would actually be kind of a cute t-shirt. We're getting close to an hour here. And not a minute too soon, because I think once this rain starts dropping, it's just gonna fucking dump. And yeah. Anyway, if anybody has any more questions about what are the rules of Slab City, now would be the time. Is there something that you're wondering about? Like, if I came to Slab City, would I be allowed to do this or that? What are you allowed to do? Are you allowed to set up a pizzeria? Yeah, you could. But the thing that's tricky about commerce in slabs is that we still do live in a society, right? We still live in an American capitalist society with American laws and regulations. So you're not allowed to like print up a menu with prices on it. You can have a donation-based business and just strongly suggest a donation of a specific price, but you can't actually put a price on it. Otherwise, then you have, I think it's the FDA, the food and beverage, to contend with. They've never fucked with the library because we're really careful about that, but they have fucked with some of the local dive bars that are a little bit less cautious about how they list their concessions. Or I guess if I call it concessions, that's legalese for like food that they're selling. But yeah, so it's tricky. You got to tread lightly. You definitely don't want to be like publishing prices on stuff or like advertising too much, because we are still squatters. You don't want to push it. And food and beverage will fuck with you if you make a big thing about it. So, yeah, you got to navigate cautiously. Tax4Alt says, how close to the canal can I camp? Okay, so the canal is owned by, can't remember what specific company. It's like Imperial Valley Water and Power. And they own the land around it too on either side. So like they have their access roads, and if you're anywhere that impedes their access roads, then they can and will remove you. If you're on their land, they can and will remove you, and it's better if you just like kind of give it space, because we don't want to bother them. We don't want them to like give a shit that people may or may not swim in the canal and need to. Sometimes, especially this time of year when it's really fucking hot. So you can camp like a few hundred yards off the canal, but to the eastern side of Slabs, that's BLM land, and you have BLM land regulations. You can be out there for up to 15 days at a time, and that's totally cool. BLM land is Bureau of Land Management, and you can find BLM land across the U.S., and the same rules apply there across the U.S. It's a federally recognized thing. So if you're looking to boondock, which is camp for free or RV for free, look for the BLM land. So you can't really like build a house out there, but also if you build it far enough, they're like literally never gonna get out there and say anything. They like, and by the time they do, you'll be so well established that it's not even worth their effort to bother you. I'm just saying, like the waters are muddy on these, and that's something that you can take to your advantage if you're smart about it, and honor the system, but kind of play it a little bit. You can do that. People that love the law do that all the time. So yeah, you can do that. Styles says, again, thank you for all the good advice. I've been thinking about relocating. Sick. Well, you know, like I say, get out there and scope it out before you like really throw down, because how much would it suck to put everything into a space only to realize that you actually hate the particular location you're in, or that it won't work for one reason or another. So yeah, scope it out and lurk for a little while first. Just feel out the vibe and get to know the place a little bit before you set everything down or like sink a bunch of money into it. All right, so we're at over an hour. If anybody else has any good questions left, I will answer them now. And if you don't, then I'm gonna just sit here for a minute and get stoned and drink my coffee, and then I'll either answer your good questions or I'll fuck right off. And thanks so much to everybody that donated today. There was a handful of you. Let's see. Let's take a look. Okay, there's no new PayPal or Venmos, but if you did kick down and I didn't shout you out, just let me know and I'll give you a shout out. If you want to kick down and help with my community and charity work while I'm here in New Orleans, and that would be extremely useful right now. And get some t-shirts, join the Discord. Heidi J is asking, are there people out there willing to work for hire? Yes, there are. Tons of folks that are willing to do yard work for you for a reasonable price, and or cold beers. Buka, the van man says, hey, Corn, have the rules at the library changed since you've left? The hours have changed over the course of COVID. As for the library rules, it's still no due dates, no library cards. And that's pretty much been the rules, other than don't be a dick and don't fuck our shit up. And yeah, the hours of operation have changed a bit. John Davis says, before I buy a tea, what is the Cheese Dog Mafia? If you go back and you watch, it's a reference to a couple of my last a couple of live streams that I've done in the past where I'm making fun of people who sensationalize Slab City. So you can go to, there's a video that I did called Slab City Sucks, and that's where the inside joke originated. Heidi says, do you allow visitors to stay overnight? No, we're a library. We have open and closed hours. There's the entire desert to stay in overnight. And there's a bunch of hostels that are very willing to accept your money in exchange for a safe place to stay. That being Ponderosa, Mojo's. I think the hostel is still doing stuff. There's other Airbnbs, but those are the only three that I would call like reputable places with at least decent amounts of comfort. It really depends. What critters can you hunt out there? Tack for Alt asks. There's tons of critters to hunt. If you're gonna hunt mule deer, you need a hunting license, but it's not hard to obtain. Just go about normal ways of getting your local hunting license and go bag a deer. People do it all the time. And there's dove hunting as well. It's a really popular spot for dove hunting. But in general, it's not a good idea to, call it. I don't know what the rules are for subsistence hunting. Like if you're literally a bush person, then I think in the U.S. you are allowed to hunt small game without any type of license. I think you can hunt like varmints anywhere, like squirrels and like certain birds and shit, and you don't need any type of license. I'm not sure. Aaron, there's fuck tons of animals in Slabs. There's like bobcats and mountain lions and deer, and I think even wild hogs. They're rarer. There's foxes and tons of animals. Melissa says you eat dove, pukey face. That's embarrassing for you that you would make that comment. Okay, I'm getting a lot of technical questions about stuff that isn't pertinent to the subject matter here. And also, I'm about to fuck off pretty soon here, so if you have any more questions about Slab City rules, what are the rules, what can and can't you do, ask them now. Aaron says, guess I heard about the donkeys. Yeah, there's donkeys. Yeah, the wild burros, they're neat. Craig says, thanks, Corn. Thanks for the video. See you next one. Yeah. I have one more, I think, is this episode 6? I think I have one more Slab City live stream week after this. So I'm going to do that tomorrow. Keep an eye out. I don't have it scheduled yet. But if you join us in the Discord or you hit the like and subscribe button on this video, make sure you click on the bell so that way when I do go live, you are notified. Because if you don't click the bell, they're not going to tell you. And you just have to like keep an eye out for it, and you won't see it until after you miss it. So make sure you hit that bell. Terry DeBoard says, if I beat a chomo, will I be punished by the cheese crew? No, you won't. The cheese crew will spare your cheese. If you beat up a chomo, then your cheese will be untouched upon your kitchen table. Peace to you, Corn. Be safe out there. Hopefully see you down the road. Hell yeah, Van Man. Have a good one. All right. Well, cheers, folks. I hope you all have a great evening. Thank you for joining me for today's episode of Slabber Jabber. It was my pleasure. Follow me on Instagram. yeah, I don't know. Donate money to me. I'm poor. And I love you. And hey, Satan, come here. And Satan loves you too. Come here, baby. Satan. Satan, come here. Yes, Satan loves you too. Yes, it's true. It's true. All right, take care, everybody. See you later.